You're listening to Brandon Sports Talk, interviewing professional athletes and Paralympians and Olympians. And now for your professional athlete interview and your host, Brandon Pate.
Welcome
You
back
good?
to
Go ahead.
welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the former WNBA basketball player Adrian Goodson. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you. Can you talk about how you knew that you want to get started in playing in professional basketball?
Oh my goodness. Well, my journey is long, and and it started in the late '70s, early '80s. And I'm a PAL kid, Police Athletic League, and when I started, there were no pro basketball leagues for women. There was plenty for men. So I was looking at Earl of Pearl, Dr. J, Moses Malone, Norm Nixon, all of those types of players, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Bill Laimbeer. Those were the types of players that I was looking at, trying to put myself together, through a Adrian Dantley and a Dr. J type of package I'm going on with here. And so, my journey was different because I'm not out here watching myself play or watching a Lisa Leslie play or watching a Cheryl Swoops play or watching a Dawn Staley play. I was watching the guys, and so my game ended up being totally different than what a girl's game would be because I was mimicking the guys. And so my journey was basically just keep playing until I saw something. I knew that eventually there'd be something for me. I knew that there was high school. I knew that there was college. And then if I played enough that I learned about overseas, played enough overseas until the American Basketball League opened up, played enough basketball that it was running concurrent with the WNBA. The ABL folded. I go in the WNBA and I retire in 2006, and that's the story. So there's a lot of in between. I'm sure you're going to ask me a few questions, but like I said, my journey was different.
What was that experience like playing for Old Dominion and going to college playing collegiate basketball?
Old Dominion, that was awesome. Short story. My mom punished me, and so I'm sitting in the kitchen aggravating her. And she's like, go in that living room and watch the girls' basketball game. I'm like, Mom, there's no girls' basketball on TV. I'm 12 years old. And I never really got the opportunity. The only basketball team I knew about was Cheney State, to be honest with you, because that's what was being filtered in my home, because it was a black university. And so I go in there, I see Old Dominion University and Tennessee. And who do I see playing? Angela Cotman. I see Nancy Lieberman. I see Ann Donovan. I see Ing Nissen. And I see them beat Tennessee for the championship, but it wasn't the NCAA championship. It wasn't NCAA yet. It was AIAW, I think. And so I watched them, and the only person I remember on Tennessee was this woman. Her name was Big O, and she was this big, huge woman, and they were trying to take her down. And so they did. They win the championship. I go in the kitchen. I go, Mom, I'm going to Old Dominion University. I spoke that out of my mouth when I was 12, and my mom's like, Yeah, whatever. All right. So 5 years later, where am I? Okay, and so it was an absolutely fantastic story. Uh, I already knew that I was going to go there, but I took all of my visits and I let them think that I wasn't going to come. But I knew that I was going. They had a hell of a recruiter and Wendy Larry, and Mary Ann Stanley was coaching at the time, and so they became a fixture in the house. And so I knew I was going there. But I went to Notre Dame. I was courted by pretty much everybody, USC, Tennessee, everybody. But Old Dominion was always the one. They were always the one.
Of course, what was that feeling like putting on that jersey for Old Dominion, knowing that when you were a kid, you were already going to be going there?
It's absolutely fantastic to go there, and then they put on this whole show um, where I'm sitting in the middle of the floor. My cousin came with me, and I'm sitting in the middle of the floor. They're playing this whole skit, and where I'm scoring the winning bucket. We're in the championship game. And then you hear the crowd, they're screaming, and it's just this whole background scene. And I'm sitting there, and they got my jersey up there, got my light, all of this stuff. Like I'm already at the school, and I hadn't signed yet. And so I meet Nancy, I meet Martina Navratilova, uh, and it was so surreal because I had already said that to myself, and I had already saw that before it happened. So when I got to put the jersey on, it was like I already felt it. I already knew what it was going to feel like and what it was going to be like, but it was absolutely fantastic. And then the icing on the cake was my freshman year. We won a national championship.
What was that feeling like winning that national championship in your freshman year?
Oh man. All I remember is just stuff going in slow motion. It seemed so surreal, that whole situation. And even when I think about it, it's like a surreal picture, kind of like clips going by really slow and being in certain moments and certain actions, and remember stealing the ball, and remember Booth coming trying to chase me down to block my shot, to Medina having a fantastic game, Bridget shot out of her mind. It just all in collaboration. And to be a freshman, I was just doing what I was told. I was following behind Medina and Tracy, and the energy and the stamina and the grit that they had. So it's kind of like monkey see, monkey do for me my freshman year. Fake it till you make it, all the way until we won a championship, and that whole year was just absolutely fantastic. Having Bob Rathbun, who is now the play-by-play for the Atlanta Hawks, you know, uh, commentating the game, and just remembering all of those faces, people that are still here, people that are gone, going to the White House. It was fantastic.
After your collegiate time, what was it like playing professionally overseas and traveling to Brazil?
Oh man, it was scary, of course. 23 years old, and just graduated out of college a year before that, and I wanted to stay and get my degree before I left, because I knew once I started playing basketball, I wasn't going to do that. So um, I had a fantastic athletic director and Dr. Jared, who made sure that I got my degree before I left. So I wouldn't have to come back, and I took off, and I go down there. I don't speak the language. I'm not familiar with the different cuisine and all of that stuff. They actually ate better. I wasn't used to eating so healthy, and just the climate was very tropical. I had to get used to. Well, who doesn't want to get used to seeing parrots fly natural? It's just so tropical down here. Beautiful, absolutely fantastic language. I got to speak. I learned how to speak Portuguese. I speak it fluently. I teach it now, and I translate Portuguese to English as well. And so that whole experience was absolutely fantastic. I was playing with Olympian teammates, Hortensia and Marta, Hoochie, and just I had a fantastic time. And to go there and be embraced the way that I was by my team, by their parents who took care of me. I was still growing up at 22, and just took me in, and made sure that I had everything that I needed. And it was the perfect situation for me. I couldn't speak about anybody else's experience, but most of my overseas experiences were absolutely fantastic. Who doesn't love Brazil?
As you talked about that, what was it like getting to play with those Olympians in Brazil when you were only 22?
Oh man, Hortensia was absolutely. She was already world renowned before I even met her, and just to get the opportunity to play with her and learn how to understand the game. I learned how to play better when I went to Brazil and became a professional basketball player. And I come back a year later, I was miles apart in the type of player that I was before I left. And we practiced 2 times a day. In the early morning hours, we We lift weights. We ran at the ergonomy, which is what they call a park, and we shot the lights out in the morning, and then in the afternoon, we just scrimmaged and ran plays. And so, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Honed all of my skills, and I had some of the best doctors known to man.
How was that transition like for you going from playing overseas to coming back to the States and getting drafted into the WNBA?
Um, it wasn't a transition because most of us are overseas, and so you're going to be playing with other Americans, especially in Europe, Spain, Italy, Turkey, Russia now, even China, a lot of players, okay, that are there. So you see a lot of players that are playing in the league. So it's actually you're playing against them all of the time, and you're honing your skills. It's just about who comes back in better shape, who comes back and prepared for the season. So it really wasn't an adjustment because I was already a pro. So the only adjustment was really to the rules and regulations and the CBA.
What was that feeling like for you getting to play with the Utah Stars?
Oh man, I never expected to go to Utah. I really didn't. My conversations were with New York and Detroit, the first round, fifth and sixth, which didn't happen. So when I went to Utah, um, it was very shocking to me. I was like, well, what the heck? At that moment, I knew that God had a sense of humor. And so, because I thought he was definitely playing jokes, but I was appreciative and I was grateful for the opportunity because it could have been I didn't go in at all. And so they only took 40 of us. So I go into the league, and Utah ends up being like one of my favorite places of all time. Salt Lake City was a place. In the beginning it was difficult because we had to build that team, and so we went from 3,000, maybe 2,000 people in a crowd, all the way up to playoffs. When we went to playoffs of 2002, it was like 15,000 in a
As a
3 year period of time.
as a player, what was that like, as you said, building that Utah team and building the foundation?
I mean, it was absolutely tough. Anything like you're down in the trenches. You think about, all the construction workers, and they're down in the trenches and they're building the foundations. There's a lot of dirt down there, and you don't always get appreciated for those types of things. And so it was tough building that up. And once we got to that point, I mean, we are definitely known as the team to dethrone uh, the Houston Comets, and knock them out of contention for the ring again. And so we ended up meeting LA, who beat us, but we're definitely that team that's known for knocking them down. And so we have some great memories, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. That's why I think Utah is such a it has such a soft spot, a big spot in my heart.
As a player, what was that like going from Utah to transitioning over to this San Jose team?
From San Antonio,
Hmm.
um, it was tough for us because we didn't want to leave. We went from not really liking Utah to loving Utah to building Utah from the ground up, and then the rug gets pulled out from underneath of us. So we go to San Antonio with a chip on our shoulder, and before we get there, they cut Natalie Williams. So we're all en route, and then one of us has to turn back around. And so from that moment, we knew that we were going to have to build again. So it was tough for us again to go in the trenches once again to try to build something great. And my experiences in San Antonio was absolutely great because once again, I won the Community Assist Award. I would stay in the off season. I had an off season contract with them, and I just stay, and I went on 100 different appearances. So I got the award in San Antonio and also in Utah, which was fantastic. And I got the opportunity to really go around and get in those elementary schools and talk to the kids and create change, one kid at a time.
In 2002, what was that experience like for you playing in that WNBA All-Star game?
I mean, every time I look at that picture of the cast of players that were on that team, I don't think that there's any team that could beat that team. That team is absolutely timeless, absolutely timeless. And Shamiqua Holdsclaw was hurt, so you got Lisa, Tina, Cheryl, Katie, Lauren, myself, Sue Bird, Marie Ferdinand, Tamika Dixon. Shamiqua Holdsclaw was hurt. And please excuse me if I'm not running off another name, but that's a tough team. I didn't even have to play much.
What was that experience like playing with some of those legends that you named?
I mean, like when we're around each other, it's like we're normal people. We're all just normal people. You know, we don't sit around and go, "Oh, you're a legend. You're a legend. You're a legend," unless we're on a show. Say, "What's up, legend?" You know, and different things like that. But other than that, it's just a group of girls who still have a little girl inside of them that's trying to accomplish all of the dreams that they set before them when they were at that kitchen table or in that bathtub or in that pool or wherever you were when you were younger.
Of course, with San Antonio Stars, what were some of the things that you were able to accomplish?
San Antonio.
Hmm.
Oh man, the relationships that I made and that I created. There's some things that don't go on a stat sheet. There's some things that you can't uh, put a price tag on. And it was the family atmosphere that we had at San Antonio. And also even connecting with family members that I didn't even know that I had in San Antonio and finding out that I have black cowboys in my family and we're this whole rodeo scene in San Antonio. There's a lot of Goodsons. And so I got the opportunity to really connect the dots with my ancestry, my history, and and also community. And then after I got finished playing there, I came back to the community and did basketball camps. So I still, had a relationship with people after I left.
How was that transition like leaving San Antonio to go to Houston Comets and playing with them?
Oh, that was weird. That probably was the weirdest thing I've ever done in my life was to go and play with a rival. Uh, you know what I'm saying? Like from 1999 to 2004, I am playing against you guys. And then in 2005, I'm playing with you. It was a whole, I'm a Libra. So, the scale was like, yeah. So it was definitely an adjustment period for me. I would have much rather have stayed where I was and retired out with the same team. I missed it by 1 year. I almost got fortunate, I almost got lucky enough because most of us don't get lucky enough to stay with one team. And that's in the NBA, that's WNBA. I mean, look at Michael Jordan, greatest player in the world, never didn't even stay with the Bulls. So it's hard to stay with one team. It really is.
What was that experience like for you traveling to Charlotte and playing with the Stings?
Oh boy, that going to the worst team in the league at that particular moment. I knew at that time I probably was going to be hanging my shoes up, but I did get the opportunity to, you know, hang out with my girl Cherie Sam for a month, and Kristen Rasmussen was there with me, and we are very good friends and till this day. And so I tried to take the positive out of it. My aunt lived in York, South Carolina. I could go and get lasagna, baked macaroni and cheese, and banana pudding at any point in time I wanted to when I was stressed out. So, I mean, I try to take the positive out of everything. I wouldn't say that that was like the grooviest period of my career, but it was definitely a learning curve.
During your time in the WNBA, what was it like getting to represent those teams and putting on their jerseys?
Oh man, absolutely fantastic. And it wasn't even so much about representing Utah, representing San Antonio, representing, and I'll just leave it there. Um, it wasn't so much about putting those jerseys on as much as it was about representing my family, that name that was on the back of it, and that name I was carrying, Goodson, and just living up to that in every sense of the word, from becoming a professional athlete to becoming a well-educated Black woman in a society that's really tough for us. So just breaking barriers. It was more than that jersey, but I do need my jersey in the store.
While in the WNBA, what was it like getting to meet your fans and having them ask for your autographs and photos with you?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. I tried not to miss one. I would ask for them to give me the respect when I came in to shoot because that's what I came in because I always came in. I'd be out there like an hour and a half before the team even got there because I like to get in my own zone. And then after I shot, boom, I stand over there and sign all of the autographs and then afterwards, sometimes they would choose a player or if somebody couldn't make it, I made sure I was there. It's just important. And once you see how those kids look at you, you can't be the same. You understand and you know that you are a living, breathing, walking, talking mentor, and you need to act accordingly.
As a former player, what was that like building that foundation for these players now that are playing in the WNBA?
Oh man, I promise you, I was on the player committee 2002 collective bargaining agreement with Tina, Cheryl, Katie Smith, and I could go on with other names, but I would have to be here for a couple of minutes doing that. And you know, we when we sat at that table, we knew that we were creating a world for somebody else. That we weren't going to reap the benefits of it. We weren't going to reap pension. We weren't going to reap uh, revenue and sales and different things like that. We knew that we were putting together that collective bargaining agreement for everyone else. And, you know, knowing the God that I serve, that it will come back to me eventually one day. Hopefully, it'll be in 2024. Hopefully, it'll be in 2025 for the 2025 collective bargaining agreement, where those girls that we took care of and you see how they're living right now will have it within their mind, their heart, body, and soul to reach back and remember who put them there. Okay. My grandmother always told me one thing: leave it better than you found it. And I certainly do believe that we have. The 2002 collective bargaining agreement, those players that were on that committee deserve it all. And that's all I'm going to say.
As a former player, what is it like getting to see these players like Sabrina Ionescu playing in the WNBA today?
Oh man, I give them all of the glory. I give them all of the strength and the power to make it better for the next generation. For me, there's never any hate. Hate defined me, and so I don't give it back. You're either gonna become a bully, or you're gonna do stuff to try to change the narrative about that. And so, for me, it's all about loving on Caitlin Clark. It's all about loving on Angel Reese. It's all about loving on Cameron Brink. It's all about loving on Camila Cardoza. It's all about loving on these young girls right now that are pushing the envelope. And we could talk about Sabrina. We could talk about Stewie. We could talk about anybody that came before this class. This class of rookies are going to be the ones whose names are going to be in the rafters in a few years. Their names are going to be the ones that are household names. Okay. So there goes all of the jealousy.
What does it mean to you to be a former WNBA player?
Oh, it means the world. Um, First of all, because like I said, to make my family name proud. Second of all, to have my name etched in an entity that will never die, no matter what. I transition on and go someplace else. Adrian Goodson's name is still remains. And so I'm really proud of that. I'm proud of the character that my mother instilled in me, my grandmother instilled in me, for all of the school of hard knocks and this the whole journey. The whole journey has been worth it. And to sit back now and reap the benefits of what these kids are doing today, um, and giving us a place again. Not that they were better than us, okay? Not that they are better than us. It's that they've shined the light on us again. So now you see Cheryl Miller again, okay? You see Cheryl Swoops commentating. You see all of these doors being opened up for people that we thought were closed. So now, as they continue to get better, they open up doors for the Adrian Goodsons. They open up doors for all the other people, countless people that come behind me that are wishing, okay, for a place somewhere or the opportunity somewhere. And so I think that is fantastic what's going on in the WNBA. And I appreciate the rookies for making us relevant again. And like I said, it's not because they're better, they're shining a light. And now is the time. People want women's basketball. When I was building the foundation, they still couldn't understand why we even wanted to play.
What has that transition been like from playing basketball to life after basketball and getting into the podcast world?
Oh man, the life after basketball is probably the most difficult life that anybody could ever imagine, because you have 1,001 skills and you really don't know what it is that you want to do. So when you walk into corporate America, who wants to put you inside of a box, and you have 1,001 skills, they're going to try to say, well, what do you like to do? Well, I like to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G. No, you got to give us one particular thing that you like. So that's hard for an athlete when we hone so many different skills. And then you have to remember the WNBA players, nobody's cheating school. We're not getting drafted out of college. There's not enough money for that. You know what I'm saying? It's not a lifetime of money. So you stay in college, you get your education. So most of the women, doctors, lawyers, nurses, attorneys, marketing, information technology, we got all these different skills. And imagine someone trying to put you in a box. So it's easier for me to go off on my own as opposed to work in corporate America, because at least with my podcast, I could be free to be me and transparent, not hide the truth.
Can you talk about your podcast of a WNBA state of mind and what is that?
Uh, a WNBA state of mind is exactly what it is. We go through so many different things in that league. So anybody who played in the WNBA will understand what I'm talking about. A WNBA state of mind. It's like this. It's ebbs and flows and curves, and you know, I think this year is finally the first year where there'll be some level of stability in which people can go, oh well, maybe this is something that's going to be here to stay, even though it's 28 years. Nobody thought it would be here to stay. And then for 28 years, they were saying that there's no money. So now you can't say that no more, right? So now there's some stability. But a WNBA state of mind is just basically just the locuta, okay, which is localness, or if that's even a word, because it's in Portuguese, it's just about all of the ebbs and flows of the WNBA and how it would make you feel as a player. And only a player would be able to understand that.
What are some of your future plans moving forward?
Oh, so my future plans moving forward is to continue with my podcast. I would love to, you know, garner some sponsors around my podcast. I do basketball clinics, and just that's who I am. Basketball and podcasting. That's who I am. I like to do scouting. I'm a hell of a video editor, a scout. Uh, my eye for the game is ridiculous.
What advice would you give those people in college looking to play in the WNBA?
Work hard. You have to work hard. You have to remember, my uncle told me, there's always somebody out there practicing to be better than you. There's always going to be somebody out there that is better than you. Okay. What are you going to do to separate yourself from that man or from that woman? Okay. You have to be a specialist. Okay. Caitlin Carr, she dropping bombs, right? Okay. You got Angel Reese. Okay. She gonna bang down low. All right. She's an incredible rebounder. She separates herself from people. So what can you do? Are you a defender? You know, are you wicked off ball? Were you just getting 2 and 3 and 4, 5 steals? You know, are you a corner specialist? You know, can you handle the ball? You know, do you drop dimes like crazy? What is it that you bring to the team? Maybe you don't do any of them. Maybe you're just the greatest hustler in the world, Dennis Rodman. So what do you bring to the table? And that's not just in basketball, that's in life. What do you bring to the table? Why do I want to hire you? And what are you going to do to keep yourself there? Consistency.
What advice would you give those rookies entering their first year of the WNBA?
First year of the WNBA, surround yourself with the hardest workers. Make the video your friend. Go into your coach's office and sit in there, get in there before she even gets in there in the morning and watch video. And I'm not talking about the video that you scored 20, 25 points. I'm talking about when you just couldn't throw the ball in the ocean, or every single time you went out to guard that girl, she backdoored you. Do the tough stuff. Be honest with yourself. And like I said, surround yourself with good people, because those are the people that are going to help you get to the next level. And always remember, the next level comes soon.
What advice would you give those people transitioning from playing WNBA to life after basketball?
Have a plan. Just like I said a second ago, you know, make sure you understand that the latter part of your career comes quick. Retiring at 36, 37, 38, 39, who does that? So there has to be a plan. Okay. Education is important. Put your cards and all your ducks in a row prior to, okay, do the programs, do the leadership programs they have, do the NBA assistant coaches program that they have, do all of the off-season programs that they have that they offer through the Players Association. Those things will hone your skills. And then once the coaches see you in that light, okay, or the organizations see you in that light, who do you think that they're going to reach back to?
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
You can find me on Insta. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter. I mean, Twitter. I don't really mess with Twitter too much, and so if you hit me there, and I never get back, I don't mess around with Twitter too much. All right, TikTok. I was getting ready to get on there, but it seems like the ship getting ready to sink in January. So I don't put too much content up there, but I am there. On Instagram, I'm agoody15. And then on Facebook, you could get me Adrian Goodson under my name. I have 2 pages. One is personal, one is like, like kind of a little fan page. But I'm out there. I'm also on LinkedIn as well. I haven't been over there that much either. But I'm out there definitely, and I'm accessible. I answer, I post, and I'm interacted. I interact with people, because there's nothing worse than having a million fans and the person never comes up there. Like, who does that?
Thank you.
And I'm all about the truth. I don't sit around and tell lies. So if you want to know the truth, come to a WNBA State of Mind. We kicking it.
Thank you again, Adrian Goodson, for your interview, and best luck in your future wherever it may hold you.
Thank you, love. I appreciate you.
Thank you. You can find me at Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again for your interview and best luck in your future.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.